So this is what your thinking map in your journal should look like at this point. Remember, it's called Integer Operation Rules. It is a classifying map, and so we've talked about adding with the same sign and adding with different signs. Before we add to our subtracting portion, I'm going to go ahead and talk about something real quick. I want you to look at this example. 15 plus negative 10, and our answer was 5. So I want you to think about how if I have a number and I add a negative number, that's the same thing as subtracting. So plus negative, that's just the same thing as subtracting. So if I have 15 and I add a negative 10, that's the same thing as just taking away 10. And 15 take away 10 is 5. Remember, that was our answer. Okay? And it works the same way even if our first number is negative. So if I had like negative 2 plus negative 1, that's the same thing as if I had negative 2, like let's say I have negative $2 in the bank, I owe $2, and then I take away, so adding a negative is taking away, I subtract another dollar, now I'm negative 3, and that's adding with the same sign. So really what we can do with a subtraction problem is we can turn it into a problem like this. We can turn a subtraction problem into an addition problem. Let's do a simple one real quick. I'll show you what it's going to look like on our thinking map in a second, but I just want to show you something simple. So if I had 3 minus 1. So there are 3 parts to this subtraction problem. There's the first number, there's the operation that we're doing, and then there's the third number. Okay, so it's 3 minus 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called keep, change, change. I'm going to keep the first number the same. I'm keeping it as a 3, a positive 3, so keep it the same. I'm going to change my operation. Instead of subtraction, I'm going to make it addition. And then instead of a 1, I'm going to change it. See, that last letter is a C, so I'm going to change that positive 1 to a negative 1. So this and this are the same problem. Okay, I'm adding with different signs here. The 3 has a bigger absolute value, so that tells me my answer is going to be positive, just like the 3. And then the difference between 3 and 1 is 2. That's the same thing up here. Okay, so the rule for subtracting integers, this works for positive and negative numbers, so that's what integers are, is keep, change, change. So I want you to do like a K, because you're going to see K, C, C all the time. I want you to know what that stands for. So this stands for keep. So keep the first number, so first number, change to addition, oops, not adding, let me say addition, and then change the sign of the second number. Change the sign of the second number. And then that's your rule, so draw a little box around it. Oops. Okay, let's show an example other than the one we just did. So if I have, let's say I had negative 15 minus 3. So I'm going to change, I'm going to use a different color here. Let's do dark blue. I'm going to change my, or I'm going to keep, so keep, change, change. I'm going to keep my negative 15. I'm going to change my subtraction to addition, and then I'm going to change my 3 to a negative 3. So here's the first part, my first number. Second part is my operation, and the third part is my my second number. So now I just use the rules for addition. So now that I've turned it into an addition problem, I just go back to these rules. That's why these are so important. So these have the same sign, negative and negative. So I'm going to keep the sign, add like normal. So my answer is negative 18. Let's do another one. Let's do 7 minus 8. A lot of you are like, it's 1. No, it's not. It's not 1. Because if I have $7 and I take away $8, not possible. I would have negative money. So I'm going to keep my first number the same as positive 7, change my second number, or my second part of my problem, my operation, to addition, and then I'm going to change my third part of my problem, or my next number, to its opposite. The opposite of 8 is negative 8. All right, now I'm adding with different signs. I have positive 7, negative 8. So I'm going to keep this the sign of the one with the bigger absolute value, which is 8, so my answer is negative. and then I'm finding the difference between the two, which is 1. So my answer is -1. Let's do one more example just for fun. Okay, let's say I had 12 minus -2. Ooh, so this time I'm taking away something negative. I'm taking away something negative. Think of it like you're taking away a debt. Like, let's say you owed your friend $2. You have $12 and you owe your friend $12, but he takes away that debt. He's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't give me that $2 anymore. We're square. Don't worry about it. So let's talk about what that looks like with the keep, change method. So I'm going to keep my 12 the same. I'm going to change my operation. Instead of subtraction, it's now addition. And then I'm going to change my second number. So instead of a -2, it's going to be +2. So that is just 14. So when you're taking away a negative, then that just means that you're adding. If you take away a negative, it's kind of like these two symbols formed together to make this plus sign. It's like you turn this one on its side and you made it the up and down part of the plus sign. So my answer is +14. Okay? So let's talk about that real quick with chips. Some of them, sometimes the chips make it a little bit more confusing, but let's just try it anyway. So let's say I had -3. So -3, and then I take away, so let's say I had, the problem is -3 minus -1. If I took away one of these negative chips, now I just have -2, okay? Same thing happens with positive chips. If I have +5 and I take away 2, then I just have +3. Okay? And then on a number line, if you're taking away something, you're just moving in the opposite direction. So on the number line, let's use this example from up here. Let's use 7 minus 8. So I'm going to start at 0, and then so my first number, I'm starting at 0 always. My first number is 7, and it's positive, so I'm going to the right. So I'm going all the way over here to +7. And then I'm taking away 8. That means I'm going the opposite direction. So I'm going the opposite direction of +8, which is negative, or backwards 8. And I landed at -1. So my answer is -1. So that is what your thinking map should look like now, and we will do multiplying and dividing later.